This is Damon Fordham, Adjunct Professor of History at Charleston Southern University, as well as the Citadel, and an author and historian and lecturer. And today I'm going to tell you a lesson that we can learn from the late great actress Miss Cicely Tyson. Miss Cicely Tyson was on the CBS Morning News during the last week of her life in January of 2021. And she told the reporter Gayle King some very interesting things about her background. She said that when she was a little girl, long after she was born in Harlem in 1924, that she knew that she wasn't beautiful. Why? She said that she was very dark-skinned. She had very nappy, i.e. African hair without chemical treatment and such, as well as being very skinny. So how did she know, quote unquote, that she was not beautiful? Well, she knew that because this is what she was told by everyone around her. And unfortunately, most people only know what they see and what they are told. But why was she even told such a terrible thing? In part because when Africans were brought here in slavery to the United States as well as other countries, they were made to believe that they were subhuman and ugly as well as ignorant in order to keep their minds in a slave position. Because you see, people like Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, Harriet Tubman, and other exceptional people in those days understood that as long as you were not educated and as long as that you were in a slave mind, you would basically stay in a slave position. And so they didn't want that. But unfortunately, that wasn't true with a large majority of people. And to this day, most people only know what they are told. So, she said that she was walking down Fifth Avenue when a man came up to her and asked her if she was a model. And she said no, but it got her interested in that, and she became a fashion model who appeared in Ebony magazine, as well as an actress who would later appear on the television show East Side, West Side, and the play called The Blacks on Broadway. But the mother believed that actresses were prostitutes. Why? Because she was limited to what she saw in that section in Harlem, and this is what she saw and this is what she was told. So she threw Cicely out of the house. Many years later, when Cicely was doing a successful play, the mother was backstage bragging to her friends, "Oh, I knew that Cicely was going to do this when she was a little girl. She was so talented." And she looked at the mother and said, "Are you serious?" But Cicely, through her actions, expanded what her mother believed and what she was told to understand that being an actress could be a great and productive thing. So when she did the television show East Side, West Side in 1963, she wore her hair in a short natural hairstyle, which was very unusual for those days. And that inspired many young girls who watched her to say, "Hey, you know what? I can be beautiful and I can be sophisticated my own way too." And so she went on to do the movie Sounder and the television program Jane Pittman. But while she was doing the movie Sounder, she said that a reporter came up to her and said that he was shocked to see that the son in the movie called the father Daddy. And Cicely said, "Well, wait a minute now. Doesn't your son call you Daddy?" But she realized that the reporter was limited to what he saw and what he was told. And he was led to believe that black people were so subhuman that they didn't have good family relationships. So she said that she would use her acting as a platform to tell people the truth about the vast realities and diversity of the African American experience. And she did such an excellent job of that that a whole generation of young actresses followed in her path, inspired by what they saw in her when they were little girls. And even I myself, when I saw her on stage at the Cicely Theater in Charleston doing a one-woman show, I saw the look of the young girls whose parents brought her to see her and how they were inspired. And we can take a modern example of this too. In recent times, Kamala Harris, she came on to run for president about a year or so prior to becoming vice president. And many people didn't believe that she could do it. But she went on, became a sorority member of AKA sorority at Howard University, went on to the legal profession in San Francisco, announced that she would run for president. People doubted her, and today she is the vice president of the United States. So one thing that all of these people had in common was that they refused to limit themselves to what the world taught them and went on to do great things. Because the book of Proverbs teaches us, the book of Romans teaches us in Romans chapter 12 in the second verse, be ye not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of the mind. So renew your minds and transform this world to your own will. With that said, my name is Damon Fordham with a lesson from Miss Cicely Tyson.